Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Fiona Navasa Wall. I'm the Vice President, Uganda Law Society, and I also head the legal department in National Water and Sewerage Corporation. I am happy to be here, and greetings to you all. Thank you for tuning in to view. I hope that I'll be able to answer all your questions on pro bono services and what it stands for. As the Vice President of the Uganda Law Society, I am also the chairperson of the Legal Aid project and pro bono services that is provided by all the advocates in Uganda. But I'm also proud to be here because I'm a student at Cavendish University and I'm pursuing my master's in my LLM in natural resources, specializing in oil and gas and IP, which is intellectual property. So looking forward to this interaction. Feel free to ask any questions that you'd like to ask. So about pro bono, I would say that first of all, I'll start with our calling as advocates. And our calling for me comes from Proverbs 31 verse 9, which says, "Speak up for those that cannot speak for themselves and be a voice for the voiceless." And as the advocates of the Uganda Law Society, we're very proud to have provided this service for about 10 years. The right to a fair hearing, as enshrined in the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, demands that all Ugandans, irrespective of their socio-economic, political background, get equal access to justice. And that is there's also Article 126 too, which also provides that in the adjudication of civil and criminal cases, the courts shall administer justice to all, irrespective of their social and economic status. So this is a right that's enshrined in the Constitution, the right to be represented. The reality, however, in Uganda is that like the rest of Africa, the majority of our people are poor and have not been able to afford these legal services. In the above regard, the Uganda Law Society, in conjunction with the Law Council, came together and initiated the amendment of the Advocates Act, which established the pro bono regulations, in pro bono regulations for indigent persons, that is statutory instrument number 39 of 2009. And this was aimed at imposing an ethical obligation on advocates to provide pro bono services. Uganda Law Society then proceeded to mobilize all our members, and I'm proud to say that over 1,500 members of our 2,500 registered advocates are actively providing pro bono services. How do we do this? We have what they call the Duty Council scheme. First of all, I'll start by saying that we have a legal aid project, and the project is in its this is the 27th year of its existence. And the legal aid project, right now, we've increased, in this last 2 years, we've increased our clinics from 12 to 21. So we're excited that we're in all those districts. However, the call and the cry for justice is still very dire. So that's why we have the pro bono project. So the pro bono project started 10 years ago. Much as the Uganda Law Society Legal Aid project is much older, the pro bono project is in its 10th year right now. And during this project, we have so many things that we do. We have the Duty Council scheme. The Duty Council scheme means that you're going to have, when you're arrested and you go to a police station, you can tell them, "I'd like to speak to a lawyer from Uganda Law Society." There are lawyers that have committed themselves, and we have attached them to different police stations, to different courts of law, different places where justice is given. Even if you go to an LC1 and ask him maybe where is the nearest police station, you can go there and actually ask them, and you'll be able to get some advocates that are allocated by the Uganda Law Society to represent you. We tend to give this service to the indigent, so we really prefer that you pass what we call the merit test. The merit test means that we're going to look at you and your ability to earn and your ability to afford an advocate, so that we keep this for the poor. We also have pro bono services that are provided by law firms. Some law firms have come forward and volunteered some of their advocates. We also have what we call the annual Pro Bono Day. This year we had it in June, even last year, and on both days we've had over 3,000 clients being serviced by our lawyers. We also have pro bono services at clinics in law schools like Cavendish Law School. They've established some clinics, and they also do outreaches where they help the students go out and train these people in their rights and provide some information materials. And that way we feel that people will be empowered to seek representation when they need it. Part of what we also do as pro bono services, we go out to we have prison outreach, a prison decongestion program, which requires us to go to the prisons, find those that are on remand and have no representation, and see and help even the judiciary in clearing up these cases. So we are very proud of every advocate who puts on their super suit every day to come and reach out for the helpless. The Uganda Law Society is committed to justice. And as I've told you, we're in 21 clinics. If you go to our website for the Uganda Law Society or our Facebook page, you find a helpline there. You find our contacts there. Just reach us if you need an advocate. We shall get you. Recently, at the Pro Bono Day, we're also very excited to have introduced the Pulida app. In Buganda, long ago, a lawyer was called the Pulida, the person who pleads for you. So, the Pulida app is going to be activated soon on every platform, iOS and Android, and it will enable anybody, and USSD later on, it will enable anybody to be able to pick an advocate who has a practicing certificate to represent them for pro bono services. And then it will also enable you to rate this advocate, the way you'd rate your Uber or your Taxify. So we feel that that will improve our service to you. But we also welcome feedback as the Uganda Law Society. Feel free to give us the feedback. Just a little on Cavendish. It's been an interesting run studying at Cavendish University. It's interesting that they have lecture rooms like this one that have air conditioning, and I think that student welfare is very prime here. I'm also impressed with the kind of technology that they have, and the ICT, and the learning technology that they have that enables you to do distance learning conveniently. We also like that there is an international network with the other universities and the other campuses. It's also in 2 campuses. It's located in the main campus at Gower Road, opposite the American Embassy, and the Acacia campus, where I am, for the law school, at Acacia Mall. Next to Acacia Mall. So there's currently registering if you're interested, and that's registration, the intake will go for 26 August, which is next Monday. So if you want to do this, hurry up. There are 3 modes of study. You can be a day student, which is ordinary, a weekend student, or distance learning like me. I think that what I like most so far about studying at Cavendish is they have over 10 ethnicities. What I mean is that people here from over 10 countries in Africa and even beyond that, and they just mix so well, and they use all platforms. You can study on any platform, whether it's internet, WhatsApp, whatever. So I like that they're very flexible like that. So enough about Cavendish. I'm seeing some comments here. Just allow me to look at them. We have Julius Seng listening from Mengo. Hello, Julius. Thank you for tuning in. Ahimbisiwe Wilbur loves Cavendish University and is a swap student at main campus, and he joined with one heart. All the best, Ahimbisiwe. William says he's listening from South Sudan. Hi, William. Any questions on pro bono services, how you can access them? If you feel that I have answered all your questions, do let me know. Imar Bashir is complimenting Cavendish University. He's a former guild speaker. Hello, Imar. Oh, he says he misses it a lot. That's very interesting. So yes, this is what I had to tell you about pro bono services. Another thing maybe I'll tell you about the Uganda Law Society is that we stand for the rule of law. And one of the things we realized is that we have a lawless culture that has started recently, where you have everybody doing what they pretty well please. We have mass criminal behavior, for instance, the way we behave when we're driving and all these things, and realize that even when we have issues that are brought about by security agencies, they come from who we are as Ugandans. So we wanted to establish the rule of law from the grassroots. So we've established about over 100 rule of law clubs in primary, secondary schools and universities. And Cavendish has one. And we're also participating with them in the moot to mentor them and bring up people that actually love and respect the rule of law. And we give these rule of law clubs constitutions. So if you have children in these schools and they want to learn about the rule of law, let them join the rule of law clubs. So we also have encouraged mentorship. The universities are mentoring the secondary school rule of law clubs, who are also mentoring the primary school. So South Kanyerezi asks, how are we ensuring that every person can know what pro bono is? As I speak, our Moroto clinic right now has sent people out to Pabong, to everywhere in the Karamoja region, and we are creating what we call paralegals. We're training them and equipping the community leaders to be able to even help people solve their legal problems, but to also know that this exists. Everywhere we have a clinic, we actually carry out these sensitizations. We have the Pro Bono Day that happens everywhere that we are. And we also have, we're planning to maybe make it regional, maybe quarterly, so that we increase that. This is also one of the ways that I'm trying to make sure that everybody knows what Pro Bono is about. Julius Seng is a second-year student. Hello, Julius. Yes, I also love Cavendish. Let me read some more comments. Beg your pardon. Imar says he'll pay a visit. I hope you check on all of us, not just the dean. Wangwe says he's glad to have joined. He's a new DL student at Busolwe. Mahmoud Isse is proud to be an alumni. Twinson says he's glad to hear this from the source. Hello, Twinson, how are you? So we're looking forward that with the rule of law clubs and all these efforts that we're making, that we'll have a society that respects the rule of law. Because if it doesn't respect the rule of law as advocates, we shall not be able to practice our trade. Of course, there have been worrying trends, but we are happy that even the security forces these days have a lot of lawyers. So we're calling out to every lawyer there to make sure that they go by the letter of the law. Yes. I'm Fiona Wall, once again, speaking about pro bono services from the Uganda Law Society. Okay, so Ahimbisiwe is asking, can someone get examination dockets from Acacia branch? Yes, this is possible. This is possible. So you can come to Acacia branch when the hours are open and you get your dockets from there. South talks about distance learning, wants more elaboration. Distance learning is where you're really learning online and you can be anywhere. We have, for instance, in my class, we have a student from Nigeria and he only comes here for exams. So the only time they'll probably require you is during induction, maybe, and exams. So it's pretty much it requires you to be very disciplined, but it's also very convenient for busy people. Charity Mbawazi, thank you. All the best. Any info on a Master of Laws program with CUU? Yes, there are many Masters of Laws programs. They're different. But if you go to our website, you find to the Cavendish website, you find the contacts there. And they have many LLMs that you can look at. And then you'll be able, I think they have one in commercial law, one in natural resources. And the there are many more. They're on the website. You find a lot of information on the Cavendish University website. And you also find contacts there, but you can visit the law school at this campus on Acacia, or you can go to the head office near the American Embassy, opposite the American Embassy, and they'll give you all the information that you require. So another thing that's interesting about the Uganda Law Society is that we are also interested in the professional development of our members, and that's to make sure that we keep them switched on and abreast with everything that's happening in the legal, in the practice of the law. So one of the things we do is we provide trainings, and we've been very happy that we are associating with schools and universities to make this even better for the advocates. But we're very proud of our practicing advocates because most of them are teaching at these universities. And I just want to say that despite the attacks that have been happening, we stand with our advocates as the Uganda Law Society. I want to send greetings, if I may, today to my council, to my president, Simon Peter Chinove, to the executive director, Joyce Nalunga Birimaso. We have a team of about 120 staff at the Uganda Law Society, and these people are amazing, and they do a great job. So anytime you go and see any of them, remember we provide free legal services. So do not allow to be charged, though I do not think any of them will charge you. They're very willing and they're very self-sacrificing. But we're also very proud that the pro bono project would not exist without our sponsors. From DGF, we have the Norwegian Bar Association, we have, of course, the Norwegian Embassy and NORAD, we have the Canadian Bar Association that sponsors a project in Bulisa Hoima where extractives and oil and gas are. They have a very peculiar set of injustices there that we're also helping represent them on. We have UN Women, which is helping us with sexually based violence and gender-based violence. We're also dealing with the JLOS, the Justice, Law and Order sector. We also wouldn't be able to do this without our fellow legal aid service providers with LASPNet, under which we fall. We also wouldn't be able to do this without the judiciary, who are partners in experiencing justice, without the police and our members of prisons, who also help us a lot. We are excited. There are new things that are coming up now in the dispensation of justice. Luzira Prison recently established an internet connection with the courts, so we will no longer suffer having to ferry prisoners. I think you saw, for instance, the use in Stella Nyanzi's case where the case was online and they were able to do all this and without having to move her and deal with the inconvenience. So we, as the Uganda Law Society, we're very excited. We're also looking at things like legal tech and what it can do for us. That's why you see now we have an application like Pleader app. I encourage you to use these applications. They're there for you. And Charity is asking, how can a mother know if her son is a lawyer in the making and what are the character traits? Well, I can just say something small about myself. One of the things my mom used to tell me was, are you a lawyer? Because if she was scolding a maid or one of my brothers, I'd always stand up. So the first thing is, if your child has an attitude, that's a sign. The other thing that I think I've seen a lot of lawyers do is they love to read. So if you have a child that loves to read, that loves words, and also uses them a lot, like I do, is a bit of a motor mouth, that's probably a lawyer. If you also have somebody that is angry at injustice, that injustice just drives them mad, that's probably an advocate. And I'm proud to say that I think advocacy is the only profession practiced in heaven, because the Bible says Jesus is advocating for us. But also when I saw how, when you see in the Bible how he threw down all these things in the temple that he found where they were selling doves and whatnot, it just shows you that righteous anger that comes against, justice. So charity, if your children have any of those traits, they're most likely going to be lawyers. If they like to have the last word in every argument, they're probably going to be lawyers. There's another trait that's worrying, but is also probably a sign, is that if they like money, because the legal profession seems to attract a lot of people that think, it's going to make them a lot of money. So if they like the green currency a lot, then they most likely will come into the profession. But all the best with your children. David Ayevaziwe, do you have a postgraduate diploma in information technology? Does Cavendish have? Okay, somebody will give me this information and I'll share it with you. Joy all the way from London, very happy to see you online. Joy Chakwita, all the best and greetings. Joy is also doing us proud. She's one of the lawyers. I studied at Makerere University, by the way, my first degree. So I studied with Joy and she's making us proud all the way in England. She's an immigration expert. So I'm advertising for you, Joy. William Pan, thanks CEU for service improvement. Thank you, Pan. I'm sure CEU is grateful for that. I'm not on their staff list, just so you know. Do you have leadership courses? I think you can find more of that information, but I'll answer these questions later. I'll have someone more technical at Cavendish answer some of these questions. How many intakes does Cavendish usually have? They have 3 intakes in a year. There is one for May, there's one in January, and there's one in August. So those are the 3 intakes that they have. Just a second as I read more comments. Evans Maganda, proud that your transformative initiatives. Thank you, Evans, and thank you also for always helping with all the technology. Evans is somebody who's passionate about God and technology. Someone wants my WhatsApp number. Wow, maybe it's the WhatsApp number of Cavendish. I think we'll share that. But you can inbox me later if it's about me and not Cavendish. Yes. So I'm still talking about pro bono services. So one of the things that's exciting in other jurisdictions that I hope that Uganda will copy soon, because I forgot to talk about a very important partner in the provision of pro bono and legal aid services, and actually the people that started this, that's the Law Council. Those are the regulators of the Uganda Law Society. They were the ones who really came up with this idea, and the ones who actually supervise it and regulate it and make sure that we do the right thing. So coming to that, they also play a very important and pivotal role. Much as we're here to serve you, some of us might mess up, some of us might treat you badly, so yes, it's good for you to give client feedback to Uganda Law Society about our advocates. But if they commit a crime, if they take your money, if they do anything, the place that you report them is the Law Council. And the Law Council does a good job, and they'll make sure that you get justice, and they will discipline us. They're very tough, and they'll also make sure that the right people are getting practicing certificates. So they have the power to actually erase your name from the role, because if a decision from them, from the role of advocates, if you've proved that you're not ethical in your practice. Ethical practice is very important. We have to put our clients' best interests as a priority of our practice. And if you see anything different, you can report. Someone has asked whether Cavendish has attachments to different law firms for student internship. Yes, it does. And our law society provides, we have our lawyers and our senior lawyers that own law firms have been very supportive in this. They take on interns, they take on clerks from all universities, really. And we're grateful for that. Why did I opt for Cavendish University, Uganda, not any other university? Well, I was looking for something that was convenient because I have a very busy schedule. I'm many things on top of being a parent. So it was not possible to just leave all my responsibilities and go away for 2 years and kill that time and study. So I had to make a tough choice, and yet I needed the information. We need to keep learning. So I did some research and I found that this was a distance learning course. And I'm passionate about ICT. I like using legal tech and and all sorts of technology to create systems that work, to make work easier. So when I found out that they had this kind of distance learning, I was impressed and I took it on. Plus, I was also looking for something in natural resources because, as I told you, I practice as the senior manager, Legal Services, National Water and Sewerage Corporation. I have worked there for a while, I think about 12 years now, and it's basically natural resources. So I thought that this is a place that I need to get into. But because National Water is also doing a lot of is also involved in a lot of technology that we are protecting IP for, I thought that a course that had IP as an element in it would be very relevant to me right now. So that's why Cavendish. Yes. Silvio Andima says we're doing a good job for our country. Thank you very much. Greetings to Mrs. Esut Margaret. Doing the degree weekend program. I hope Margaret has gotten the greetings. South wants to know how one can attain a scholarship to do law at Cavendish. Cavendish has some interesting discounts. For instance, if you pay a certain amount of money, but I'm sure I'm going to get some more information on scholarships as we go forward. Yes, so another thing I was talking about, regulation of advocates, is that we have a lot of people who are holding out. Holding out means somebody is walking out there calling themselves a lawyer and they're not an advocate. They do not have a practicing certificate and should not be practicing law. So every time you come across such a person, please report them. It's a criminal act, actually. They should be arrested and prosecuted, because if they misrepresent, you could lose your case. If somebody finds out the person who signed your documents, your land title, things like that, is actually not a lawyer, this could cause it could heavily compromise your case or your property rights. So I just want to urge everybody, make sure that you use an advocate, and you can find this information from the Uganda Law Society or the Law Council. You'll be able to tell who is an advocate and who is not. The late Samson Chiseka, former Prime Minister, used to say he was Amusao Omutendeke. He was a doctor that is learned in other ways. So advocates are not only just people that have studied the law, but they've studied and they've also studied the practice of law. That's the bar course, and they have been tested and tried and given this certification. So a lot goes into this. That's why we hope that the public out there will help us root out all these people that are holding out and misrepresenting our clients. Maybe those are the people that are defrauding you and making the name of the Uganda Law Society members shaded gray with scandal for those that are complaining. I'll also take this moment to remember advocates that we've lost this year. We've lost some advocates to violence, with especially the people that attack them outside gates and everything. And we've also lost some advocates to cancer and to these illnesses, chronic illnesses. And we just, our hearts go out to you, and we want to remember them. We want to thank God for them and for their service to the country. Okay, let's look at the questions once again. Abaho is failing to watch this. South Kanyerezi, you're being asked for help, so maybe please guide him. He's having a problem with his maybe his feed. I don't know what's happening. I think I'm about to invite somebody to come tell you something about whether there are scholarships at Cavendish, whether the types of LLMs that are being taught here. So I'm going to introduce somebody. Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm going to get this information and just share it. Someone here is very shy. Today I'm the face of Cavendish. When Charity asked how can a mother know if her son is a lawyer in the making and what are the character traits, one of the things I wanted to say is that the practice of law, the law opens up your mind to be able to do anything, because as lawyers we represent people in any capacity. We represent people in health and the law, we represent doctors, engineers. I work in national water, so representing engineers sometimes makes you have to indulge in a lot of engineering information. So it's a very exciting profession, and I'd encourage anybody to help their children and assist their children to practice law. It's a very interesting because I think it's also a science of sorts, and it has serious method to it, and I think it improves the individual. All the comments are going to be responded to. Even some of them will be typed here as I speak, but registration is still ongoing if you're interested in joining. The deadline is September 17th, 2019. And for the types of LLMs, you'll find them. They have quite a number. We also have an MBA and other courses in the master's section. You can visit the website, which is for all the other information, and also remember that they're on social media pages. You'll get them on Facebook and Twitter if you want. I want to send greetings to my friends at the Uganda Law Society. I'm very proud to serve you, and I hope that we shall continue providing services to our members. We're going to soon have a Rule of Law Week that I'm excited to announce as the Uganda Law Society. During this, we usually have a march where we march up to the High Court. And then we also have a conference that we have that's called the Rule of Law Symposium, where we usually explore how we've been doing with the rule of law. And the rule of law, we also, it's also a culmination of the events that have been happening in the year, rule of law wise, because as the Uganda Law Society, we release what we call a quarterly rule of law report. That is a name and shame report, and that we give to all the people that are named therein so they can defend themselves and also or check their behavior. So this usually names institutions, individuals. We also use that time, the Rule of Law Week, to account to our members for what we've done. And one of the things that I'm excited about is that we establish a public interest litigation department that is going to be doing strategic litigation that is aimed at enforcing rule of law. For instance, we have committed ourselves to using the Human Rights Enforcement Act to prosecute those officials that abuse their rights or abuse their office to abuse the rights of citizens. And we're going to prosecute them personally. And we think that this will create some order in the institutions that are doing it. So we, as the Law Society, are also very excited because our lawyers are willing to come on board and join us and support this great cause. Abaho Tabamuzigu, South Kanyerezi, has responded to your cry for help. Yes, I see a good job from Mr. War. Thank you very much. I've embarrassed him, I think. Message Kasigire says, we lawyers are very expensive. Message, I can assure you that we shall be able to take care of you. You just come to the Uganda Law Society. If we are very expensive, we have, I'm telling you, Message, we have about almost 3,000 lawyers that are on the role of advocates. if you've been paying attention this year alone, we've had over 300 new lawyers enrolled, added to the roll. So we're excited, and I'm sure that these young lawyers are looking for business message. We have a young lawyers committee in the Uganda Law Society. These lawyers are hungry, they're looking for work, and they're affordable. But if you have people that are very poor and can pass a merit test that they really need legal aid, I can assure you we have 1,500 lawyers that are willing to give you pro bono services. So pro bono services will not cost you a thing, message. And that's why I'm here to tell you about it. Kalagane Sandra, which secondary school has Cavendish University offered pro bono services? They've offered pro bono services in Nagalama SS and Forest Hill Mukono. And we're hoping that they'll be able to do more. The pro bono duty council thing that I was talking about is that we have advocates stationed at they will not be seated there, but for instance, if you go to Kabalagala police station and maybe somebody has had you arrested and you have no legal representation, they always tell you, they call it the Miranda rights. They tell you don't say anything, it will be used against you. You need an advocate, then you say, yes, I need an advocate. I need somebody from the Uganda Law Society. So once you say that, if the officers usually will have a contact, so they give you that one phone call, you can call the Uganda Law Society and say, I'm here, I've been arrested, I don't know what to do, and I cannot afford a lawyer, give me a lawyer. They'll probably give you a lawyer who is already associated with a police station, and they'll come and help you. Duty council is there because we realize a lot of people are getting detained, and the constitution says they should not be detained beyond 48 hours. So we're also trying to help our police to stick with the law, because this gentleman, the lawyer, will probably get you police bond and get you out until you're officially arraigned in court, and then we can see what happens from there. So thank you very much. I think you got the point about that. Akech Ali, how can one attain to do business law, mainly specific business law? Business law, they have what they call commercial law here. There's also an MBA, which has an element of business law in it. So it will depend on your interests, but I would advise that you reach out, visit the website, you get some information, and also reach out to any of the people that are at the campuses. I'm glad that you're an old student, so just get a contact there and call and ask. But I'm sure that the masters in commercial law would probably satisfy your needs. Abdi Fatah Gure says very good things about Cavendish. Abdi, where are you from? Since you say when you come to Uganda, do let us know where you're from. Yes, so Cavendish University has a Master of Laws specializing in international commercial law. That's the one that I'm recommending for the person who was talking about business law. Kagavane Sandra asks when classes for August intake are beginning, and they're beginning on 29th August. Yes, that's what's happening. So Sandra, I hope you're already onboarded and you're ready for class, because it's this month. For your information, this is the first time I've ever done a webinar like this, so I do hope that you will forgive any glitches. But I must say I'm enjoying myself because no one is really looking at me, or I'm imagining that, so I'm not very uncomfortable. And I like these classrooms. I'm very old, so I wish that when I was still doing law in my undergrad, we had classrooms like this that had air conditioning and all these interesting things like webinars. Yes.
About the young people again, one of the things that's happening these days is for the millennials and the young people, the issue of resilience. So if you have an office you have a classroom with air conditioning, you can imagine how they will expect the office to be when they come to the workplace. And it's argued that because this generation does not have a lot of stress, a lot of strife, like some of us went through, surviving civil wars in the country and all these things, you find that their pain threshold is very low. So they'll get stressed if it's hot in the room because they studied in SC rooms or things like that. So I hope that if you're planning to be a student, you need to build on your resilience, you need to build on your strength, I'm not saying practice being in pain, so you increase your pain threshold, but do a lot of things. Work out, meet new people. Do not be afraid of change, embrace change, because that's how you train your resilience muscles. And this helps you with your emotional intelligence, with being able to be flexible. One of the things that I've admired about people, for instance, who study in other countries is that they learn new cultures, and that also makes them a little more resilient. Some more comments. Evans says he can't forgive me for doing it. Oh, thank you, Evans. Thank you, Sandra. Charity, you've enjoyed it. Thank you. I hope you're coming to do a law degree. Gerald asks for how flexible the fee payment systems at Cavendish University. I think you can pay in installments. I know that is an option, but I also like that if you pay immediately, they will give you like a 30% discount. Okay, I didn't tell you that, but you can get a really big discount. But I think their understanding, so far what I've enjoyed is the ability for you to be able to make a phone call or write a letter, and they're very responsive. Yes, Dr. Olive is still dean, and she's also the deputy vice chancellor. And you say that lady of steel has shaped law school greatly. Yes, I would agree. She's the iron lady behind all his success. She's very tech savvy and very exposed, and we're very happy. Personally, she's one of the people that I look up to, and I'm very proud to associate with her. Is registration still ongoing? Yes, it's still ongoing. As I said, up to September 17th, 2019. Charity is glad I'm talking about resilience. It's a topic, it's been my theme for this year. I think because we've been talking about, there's the IQ, which is the intelligence quotient, then there's the EQ, which is the emotional quotient. Because in the boardroom, they discovered that it's not enough for you to just have a high IQ. You'll have somebody who has a first-class degree and they're the best at everything intellectually, but they cannot run a team. The way they're behaving is causing strife. So they discovered that emotional intelligence is actually a trait that everybody needs. But now there's something called AQ, which is your, forgotten what that is. It's your, I'm going to get it, but it's got to do with resilience, and it's got to do with how you're able to deal with, it's called the adversity quotient, forgive me. It's called the adversity quotient. So it's your ability to manage stress, your ability to work under stress, your ability to thrive under what would be otherwise stressful situations, because that, they've discovered, is what makes leaders. You see, Nelson Mandela was a totally different man before he went into jail. I mean, he was bombing railroads and doing all sorts of things. But 27 years later, going through that experience, that harrowing experience, and seeing his country go through all that, he became literally the wisest man in the world. When he spoke, everybody listened. Desmond Tutu, all these people that we've had and seen. For Desmond Tutu to be an authority in what was happening in Rwanda, in the healing in Rwanda, he's also gone through his pain. So there is a way, the way you deal with the adversity in your life will either make you or break you. But when it makes you, then it makes you a leader. It makes you the kind of person that can take people places because you've been there yourself. So yes, the adversity quotient. Napoleon Bonaparte, one of the French great revolutionary leaders, had his weaknesses, yes, but one of the things he used to say is that men sleep 2 hours, men should sleep 2 hours, women should sleep. But you see, there are still questions as to whether he ever slept. So he was the kind of leader who had the right to tell people to sleep only 2 hours. So you have to walk your talk, and walking your talk might mean that you go through a lot of adversity, go through a lot of rejection. As you saw, Jesus, a prophet is never enjoyed in their home. So if you're practicing your law and you're trying to do it ethically, it might cause issues. If you're studying law and you do not want to cheat exams and you want to do it ethically, it might be going against the grain. But at the end of the day, that's where you have somebody that is worthy of being a leader. So yes, your adversity quotient is very important, and it comes from resilience. So try and build your resilience. Nicholas Opio has joined. I'm very excited Nicholas Opio has joined. I think that's somebody with a high adversity quotient. I should embarrass him a little. But one of the things I admire about Nicholas is you see what you get. He walks his talk, which is not an easy one. And he also, despite the fact that he is open-minded, and he also always weighs things, weighs situations. I've always enjoyed reading from him, and I'm very proud to say that that man, he knows how to use the English language. I have a lot of respect for that, Nicholas. Encourage them to come to Career Memoirs. Yes, there is, if Cavendish will allow me to advertise, there is a career talk that I will be a part of. If you'd like to hear, that will be on 12th September 2019. It will be at Esami, Uganda. It's called Career Memoirs, and we basically are going to get different people. There'll be an HR expert to tell the young people what to expect when getting employed and what employers expect from you. There'll be people like me who will be talking about their experiences and how to build your resilience. There'll be people like Charity. Charity runs an NGO that is helping build pillars in society, leaders. So if you want to hear about career and building your career and listening from other people and also share your career story, come to the Esami Uganda office on 12th September 2019. And I hope that you probably have a chance to speak back and give me your thoughts on this whole adversity thing. I spoke to somebody today and they were laughing that, oh, they're making a quotient out of everything, but I think it has some sense in it. South Kanyerezi talks about the Cavendish Moot team in Kenya. Oh, yes. Now, one of the things I'm proud about, and if you come to the Cavendish Law School, is they're very, very active in the mooting internationally, and they've got quite the name for that. And South is saying he saw the Cavendish Moot team in Kenya for the World Trade Organization moot, and they were talking like practicing lawyers. And he seems to suspect that they had some, plans, but I don't think so, South. I think that if well trained and given the opportunity, law students can make very, very good debaters and mooters. And it's the most exciting thing at that time because you're not yet shaken by the facts of this world. You've not yet experienced what could go wrong in a courtroom. You're not driven by any, growing up sometimes exposes you to too many things that change that idealistic student. So we love to have students moot because I feel like that's when they are their best because they're working in a sanitized environment. and it's easy to, argument goes as long as you argue well. Some lawyers say that argue the law, argue the facts, or argue anyway. So I think in the moods they really do that. They take that to another level. I thoroughly enjoy that. A catch earlier is commercial law masters possible if I've done a BBA undergraduate? I think that will be answered in due course. Would you recommend other students to enroll? Yes, I would recommend other students to enroll. I was invited as a VP Uganda Law Society to the graduation. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And I also think that if you want to meet more people, if you want to be exposed more, if you want to use new tools of learning, if you want to do it fast and efficiently, and if you value client care, so this is also a good university to go to. At least I've been impressed so far. Okay. And Evan says that you can apply for an LLB if you've done your BBA under the School of Working Adults. So that's something for a catch. Challenges, Gerald asks what challenges you've met as a student and how have you overcome them. Well, the technology is not an easy thing to get acclimatized to if you're not a technology person. Also, time really flies. So if you're an online student, if you're a DL student, distance learning, you have to practice a lot of discipline. They expect you to put in the time, and there are weekly assignments, and there's a lot of literature to read. There's a lot of research to do. There's a lot of coursework to do. There's a lot. I must say that sometimes you look up and 3 weeks have gone by and you do not get, satisfied your assignments and you have a backlog. So that has been a challenge personally for me, because sometimes you get lost in all the busyness, being a parent, being a mom, so yes, I'm a mom of 3 beautiful children and a wife as well, and of a very Ugandan man. I know you might have questions, but the thing is, it's been tough dealing with the technology. It's been tough dealing with the time, because it's fast paced. They assume that you're very intelligent and very up to date with technology. Then the other thing that also is tough is that you're not in a classroom setting. So if you don't take the effort to actually make friends with the people that are doing your course, it can be a lonely one. So you have to find innovative ways to discuss. They have discussion boards that are hard to use. I have 2 more minutes, but yes. So the other challenge that I think I have found has been it's distance learning, but I think the law here does not allow you to do distance exams. I wish that there's a way we could also do the exams online. So you actually have to show up and do the exams. So I found that's also a challenge. But otherwise, I think I'm enjoying my stay at Cavendish. I hope it will be successful, and that in a few years or months, I'll be able to, graduate with honors. The other thing I also wanted to say is it's also a blended learning option. So you can actually interact freely with your lecturers. The only issue is you have to make an effort to interact with your fellow students. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. My name is Fiona Wall, Vice President, Uganda Law Society, also a student at Cavendish University. Today I have been speaking specifically on pro bono services the Uganda Law Society is providing and where you can find us. Just remember, you can go to the Cavendish website for any information that you might need. Remember to go to the Uganda Law Society website for any information you might need, or Facebook pages, or we also have helplines that are on those pages, and we'll be able to reach out to you. But I just want to encourage you today, love a lawyer, reach out to one lawyer that you know in your life and give them some love, because I think lawyers go through a lot. They take on, some of our lawyers have been attacked because of the work they're doing for their clients. So I would just encourage you all to love a lawyer today. And today I'm also doing this at Cavendish University, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to join for your further studies. I am logging off in a minute. I've seen some questions. Okay, so Julia says there's a mentality that Cavendish is expensive and only for international students. That's not true. I found this one of the most affordable courses, and believe me, coming from a mom, we like to compare prices. So I think that I would encourage you to try out. Their rates are quite friendly. So thank you very much. I'm very honored that you've been a part of this. Thank you for taking your time to listen to me. I hope this has been very fruitful. Please keep on asking questions if you have any. You can also save this. You can share this link and save this. And remember to encourage everybody. Uganda Law Society is there to provide pro bono services, and we are available and we are at your service, and the service is free. Thank you very much. For God and my country.